A club like this that I'm involved in now, it's a pleasure to be with because there's a lot of terrific blokes in it and a lot of fine engineers, and we help one another. Um, I've had a lot of experience with these things, but of course so have a lot of other people, and we share ideas, how to do it and all this sort of thing in the club. Now, I've always enjoyed being a member of the club. Um, I was president for 13 years, and that was a very pleasurable time. And since then, of course, I've had a bit of a finger in some of the things that's gone on in the club as well. So, but I do enjoy my time here, there's no doubt about it. I look at the track now because it's fabulous. When we first came out here, there was so much bush on here that you stood up here, you couldn't see more than halfway up the place. It was just thick bush. And we've spent 6 months hacking down trees and undergrowth to get an idea of the shape of the property. It was hard work, and eventually, after a couple of years of work, we had a bit of track down that we could actually run logos on. It was fairly primitive and has gradually evolved. But the last 10 years has seen a big change on here, and I think as far as the track work and that goes, we've got about as much on here as we can fit on this size block of ground. From here on, well, it's a matter of maintaining what we've got. There's always maintenance on a track like this. So I don't know if there's that much more to put on here to improve it, other than just upgrade the track as it deteriorates and needs new sleepers and all that sort of thing. And they're redoing the dining area at the present time. It's being reconstructed. It's just improving what we've got, because if we try and put any more on here, I think it'll become too cluttered. We've got a nice track now, and I'm very proud of it. It's a fantastic site. I'm pleased to see it as it is, and we'll just maintain it to a good standard from here on. When we first moved out here, it was a bit of a funny thing. At the same week, I was going to offer the club the use of my 10-acre property at Park Ridge. I'd moved out there and set up the house and workshop in it there, and had all this paddock that I had no use for. And the meeting I come to where I decided I'd offer them to him, Jim Jackson, who owned this entire property at that time, spoke up and he said, "Oh, if the club would like to put up the club track, I can have the back half of my property to put it on." So I shut up. I thought there's no point having a fight between north and south. Well, that was in about, it was actually about 1970, I think. I didn't move on to my property at Park Ridge until 69. It'll be about 12 months later. And so initially when we came out here, Jim gave us the use of this 5 acres, and for the use of the ground we agreed we paid half his rates at the time. No, that's the natural bushland singing out to us. We paid half the rates and any other costs involved with the property for the use of it. And we had that agreement for quite a few years, and we tried to buy the place off Jim a couple of times, and he wasn't too keen to sell, but then circumstances changed later on, and we were given the opportunity to buy this 5-acre site. We actually got 5 acres, and we own the driveway past Jim's house, so we've got that easement bit as well. So at the time, of course, most of the people in the club are only working blokes, and they didn't have a lot of money to spend, and as always in an organisation like this, you get a few tightwads that have got the money but won't part with it anyway. But we managed to rake up $90,000 in a hurry. We had to raise it in a couple of weeks. To do it, we sold shares and debentures and all sorts of things to raise the money, and repaid it over the next 5 or 10 years. But it's amazing, when we first come out here, a lot of the people, particularly in clubs down south, rubbish this. You don't buy your own property, you use a bit of council ground, that's the way to go, you know. But, oh yeah, well, we're quite happy as we are. And of course now, It's reversed. You don't want to have a bit of council down there because you don't know when they're going to throw you off and give it to a football club. So we're happy that we bought the place, and of course most of the other clubs envy us now because we do own it to a fair degree. We can control our destiny. We can't be thrown off unless the council or the state government want this bit of ground. And then, of course, as we know, if they want something, they can just throw you off and resume it. But we consider we've got a pretty good deal as we are. The actual financial setup of owning this site, the membership at the time, I'm trying to think of numbers there were when we bought the property. I think we had 70 or 80 members at the time. We raised the money, and the issue came up of what do we do with future members coming in? Do we make them pay for it? Well, we decided it was too difficult to work something like that. So all we've done with, as always, we've got a $50 joining fee for any new member coming in, and then they pay the same annual fees as the rest of us. So yes, new members coming in have got the benefit of the work that's been done over the last 30 or 40 years, as well as the ownership of the property. And of course, no individual member in the club can ever own this property. It's owned by Queensland Society of Modelling and Experimental Engineers. Now, if the club was to fold up, the money goes to, by the government department, I forget what they call it now, but virtually the proceeds of it will go to a charity of some form if nobody in the club wants to buy the place. Like, that's the only way a club member could ever own the place. He'd have to buy the whole place lock, stock and barrel, and then he could become the owner, but that's only in the case of if the club was folding up for any reason. We can't see that happening. But in the case of, if, say, the state government moves this out because they want to put a road through here or something, the compensation money will go into that government fund. It doesn't come to the members. We don't gain financially out of it. We only gain from the use of the property that we've bought, as long as we can keep it. You know? We've been fortunate since we've moved on here in that, particularly when Ewan Chapman was our mayor, the whole council were very supportive of us. Over the years, at least 2 or 3 times a year, one of the council members would turn up to one of our run days, and when they saw me, they backed us totally, particularly when they found out we were doing things like bringing kids in from these disadvantaged kids from their special schools on a Wednesday and putting special days on for them. The council think we're wonderful.